So the first thing, before you can actually work on actual subitizing, kids have to learn what the actual dice pattern or die patterns are. Okay, so before you can get into doing flashes, and think how much the world has changed, you know. Kids very rarely now play board games. If they do play board games, it's like a board game that's on an Xbox and it rolls the dice for them. So kids don't even have a lot of exposure with dice and dominoes. So before you can even do anything with subitizing, just get foam dice. Foam dice are better because they don't make as much noise, but go ahead and have them just roll these dice so they can learn those different patterns. You know, what is 3? They should be able to look at this and know it's 3 without counting it. They should be able to look at this one and know that it's 5. Another activity that you can do, these are just foam dominoes. You can go ahead and just have kids take these dominoes and just flip them, and oh, that's 1. That would be 3. That would be 1. This one would be 4. Again, doing activities where they learn just the standard dice pattern, okay? Once they know that, then you're able to start doing some things with subitizing, okay? So remember, when you're doing subitizing, you want to flash it, and the reason why you want to flash it is so kids can't count it. Now, they can still burn like the image in their heads, but by flashing it, you encourage them not to do it. So ready? How many were there? And we know that that was 5. How many were there? 4. And so once your kids are able to do flashes, they're able to do subitizing with regular patterns, then you can transition to using irregular patterns. And this is where a lot of foundation building goes. All right, ready? So how many were there? 5. Now you can go ahead and discuss it. How did you know that was 5? Well, because there was 3 here and there was 2 there. And so we know that 3 and 2 made 5. Now let's take a look at this one. Ready? How many were there? 4. Good. And again, how did we see it? We saw it as 3 and 1. All right. Once your kids know the standard pattern for subitizing, and then or the regular pattern, standard pattern, then you go ahead and you show them irregular pattern. Then you're able to start doing some things called conceptual subitizing. Okay. And conceptual subitizing is what it is. Conceptual subitizing means you're actually doing a mathematical process. Okay, so let's take a look at this, right? We're going to know this really quickly, but we're not subitizing. We're actually going to be doing a quick addition problem. Ready? How many were there? We know that was 7. And how did we see it? And think about it. What did I use to sort of manipulate your brains, or manipulate the brain so you could see it the way I wanted to? You can use color. How many were there? And we know that there were 7. I saw 5 and I saw 2. And remember, it's not just about doing the flashes, it's about having the follow-up conversations. And the last one. Okay. And then this last one, this isn't really subitizing, but this is getting them ready for something that's coming. So what you can do, will be the first time where you're actually connecting a digit to a picture, to a pattern, so that this is one way that 6 could be made. Now in your materials, there's a bunch of different 6s that are all made in that particular, there's 6 and there's 5 and 1, 6 and 0, 3 and 3, and so on. So go ahead and say, okay, we know that this is 6, and how is this particular 6 made? All right, and then there's another one for 8. Let's take a look. We know that this is 8, and how is this particular 8 made? Because remember, the whole idea is you want them to know there's many different ways to make these, okay? And we'll come back to these when we get to making 5 and 10. You'll see why it's important to introduce these when they're very, very young, and then what you can do with it when they get older.